Faith and Melody.
Ito ang INCRadio, DZEM 954, ang tinig ng katotohanan, himpilan ng Iglesia ni Cristo, sumasahimpapawid mula sa Quezon City.
Don't be afraid to take the baby steps. It's another day, don't forget, 'cause just a prayer away. Don't give up now, trust the process and keep learning. And if you need a friend, we're in this together, together, together. We're in this together, together, together. We're in this together, 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 together as a family in faith and melody.
Welcome back, everyone. This is INCRadio's Faith and Melody, where we have deep, rich, and life-affirming conversations, while we also listen to inspiring Iglesia ni Cristo original music.
That's right. And today we're exploring how influence affects our values, decisions, and growth. Whether we realize it or not, we are constantly being shaped by the people around us, family, friends, mentors, and even strangers online. But what does it mean to take control of those influences and become one ourselves? That's our conversation today on today's topic, Shape by Influence. And as for your host today, I'm Jay from Australia.
And I'm Belle, also from the United Kingdom. And we're also excited for you to join us because, it's the start of a week. So let's get started with the first song on our playlist today, which is Mahal Po Naming Tagapamahalang Pangkahalatan. And we'll be right back.
Araw-araw ka pong gumagabay at sa amin nagmamahal. Di iniinda lahat ng hirap pagpapagal. Mapangunahan lang kami't maihanda nga sakdal, sapagkat ang mundong ito'y hindi na magtatagal.
Sa pagtuturo, ikaw ay walang sawang nagpapayo. Iba't ibang lokal, distrito ang iyong dinarayo. Di mo alinta na pagod gutom, mga banta binibisita mo pa rin iglesia sa ibang bansa.
Ito'y patunay na walang anumang magiging hadlang. Sinisinop mo pa rin aming gabay sa hakbang. Tagubiling na pakinggan, di dapat malimutan. Aming susundin at amin pong pagtatalagahan.
Kami panatag, pag nakikita kang nakangiti, di ka manabot ng paningin sa bawat sandali. Ay wala po kami na dapat ang ipag-alala. Salamat po sapagkat sa amin laging nangunguna ka.
Salamat sa pag-ibig mo, kami patuloy mo pinamumunahan. Walang sawang ginagabayan, kami sinisinunod mo sa loob nito. Banal na iglesia, upang kaligtasan ay kami.
Buong buhay mo, ginugugol ng lubos sa pagtupad. Mapangunahan kami tungo sa kaligtasan at hangad mo'y pananampalataya. Pag-ibig at pag-asa namin ay palaguin. Ang tungkol ito pa rin sa pagbubunga.
Katotohanan ay ipalalaganap
Dito sa mundong ito, napuspos ng mga hilahil ng bagabag, ng hirap, suliranin at puot. Bawat payo mo'y nag-aalis sa taglin na lungkot sa aming buhay. Ano mang pagsubok na danasin, hinihikayat mo na magtiis at huwag matakot kung mapagod. Ay laging manalangin sa Ama, sa lahat ng panahon ay maaasahan siya. Maraming hamon, nabigay nitong ang sanlibutan. Maraming ulit, ito'y iyong napagtagumpayan. Ika'y palaging ligtas sa mga kapahamakan. Mahal po namin tagapamahalang pangkalahatan.
Salamat sa pag-ibig mo, kami patuloy mo pinamumunahan.
Walang humpay ka pong nagbibigay ng mga payot saway na siyang makakatulong po sa aming paglalakbay. Ang tanging gusto mo ay kami po'y makatagal, patuloy pa na tumupad ng tungkulin na banal. Pag nagtuturo, iba't ibang bansa ang dinarayo, habang kami tulog, ikay nasa paglalakbay. Nagtutungo ka po sa iba't ibang lokal, di mo na alintana ang pagod at pagpapagal sa pagtupad. Wala kang panahong pinipili, gabi at araw, gumagawa sa bawat sandali. Wala kang oras na sinasayang, walang humpay kang kumikilos, dahil ang panahon ay nagmamadali sa pagparito ng ating Panginoong Hesukristo. Iginayak mo po lahat ng iglesia ni Kristo, sapagkat di na magluluwat, di magtatagal, makakarating na't maninirahan na sa nila ang bayang banal.
Salamat sa pag-ibig mo, kami patuloy mo pinangungunahan. Walang sawang ginagabayan, kami sinisinop mo sa loob nito. Banal na iglesia, upang kaligtasan ay kamtan. Salamat sa pag-ibig mo, kami patuloy mo pinangungunahan. Walang sawang ginagabayan, kami sinisinop mo sa loob nito. Banal na iglesia, upang kaligtasan ay kamtan.
Mahal po namin tagapamahalang pangkalahatan.
and uh and that was our first song for today. But yes, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. This is Jane and Belle on INCRadio's Faith MLB. And if you're watching with us live right now, it's currently 12 a.m. over there in our main studio in the Philippines. And in a world filled with opinions, trends, and voices, how do you stay grounded and intentional about who or what influence our lives? So that conversation and more on today's topic, which is shaped by influence. But before we dive into our topic discussion for today, let's begin with our kickoff chat.
Our another breakfast is titled Life Storm
Let us know if
Survival
it's
Kit.
something that you're willing to pick up as a
Kickoff chat.
So our kickoff chat for today, we're asking the question, since we're talking about influences and being shaped by the people around us, what's a trend or a habit that you picked up because of someone else did it first, right? What's something that someone else did first, like a trend or a habit, and then you started doing the same thing or you picked it up? I'm sure there's something, right? Like that you've experienced in the past. Usually when it comes to hairstyles, right? There's usually a hairstyle that somebody else pulled off and it goes, looks really good on them. It might look good on me as well. I remember Belle when I was younger, the bowl haircut, right? I don't know if you've ever seen anyone pull off the bowl haircut, but you literally put a bowl on your head and you just cut your hair around it. My mom did that once when I was younger. I don't think it suited me, but I had the bowl haircut for a while when I was younger. I have photos. I have photos to prove it. But anyway, let us know, our Ohana there, that's our viewers that are watching us live right now. Feel free to join us and let us know if there was a trend, a habit, or something that you picked up because of somebody else. Belle, is there anything that you picked up because of, I don't know, something that you saw on someone?
I remember during the pandemic, I mean, most of us had a lot of time in our hands. And I've seen some people like journaling because I like arts and crafts. I like doing artsy related stuff and creative stuff in general. And I've seen these people that were trying to either do a bullet journal or like a scrapbook, like how do you call it? Um, creating like recreating memories through the different mementos that they have that they can put in the book,
Oh,
or
and then
simply
is that the one where you would paste it on a book? Like you would have a page of your mementos or something? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, something like that, similar, or like I don't know, like a receipt, and then you just like glue it on top and then put some pictures, something like that. Something similar to that is like making a collage, but with different materials that you have from that memory. I've seen like a lot of people do that, like a scrapbook. I don't know. It's something. It's like a creative way to do a photo album, but with more bits to it, if that makes sense. But yes, it takes a lot of like creativity or a creative mind to do that. So yes, I've seen a lot of people do that, or like simply just journaling, like writing down your thoughts, or going on about your day. And at first, like I really like the idea of like doing a scrapbook and everything, but the journaling, and I've done it like before, especially like in school. Like I feel like in primary school, like you do a lot of that artsy stuff that you bring home to your parents as well. But yes,
Wait,
for
so
me,
you actually did that? Belle, you actually made a scrapbook of mementos and things
I mean,
during
I've been trying to do it. I have a like a scrapbook where I just put like pictures, if that makes sense. But I
yeah.
don't know if it really counts as as a scrapbook, because I don't have like receipts and all this stuff just yet. So yeah, it's just something like that, similar. But I've also seen people like journaling and stuff. And at first I thought like, oh, are you just like writing like a diary or something? Like at first I didn't really get the point of it. But once I started like journaling and putting down my thoughts, especially during hard times, I was like, oh, actually this is like really helpful. Like it makes me help clear my mind. So yes, I've seen it, and sometimes I see videos like of them doing it creatively, like I don't know, putting like um doodles, or I don't know, any type of design, something like that. So that really inspired me to do it, and I thought it was something that I wouldn't relate to, or even like. So yeah, that was really nice, and I enjoyed it. What
Well,
about you?
it's nice to be able to keep mementos and things like that, right? Like a record of all like the memories. Kind of similar. I don't do it much anymore, but I did pick up a trend before that everyone was doing. And I think everyone is sort of still doing it now, collecting cards. Collecting, like back then it was basketball cards for me. Do you know
Mm,
anyone that used to collect any sort of cards? You would buy those packs. And like now there's a particular trend of people collecting all these cards, right? Not
yeah,
maybe not basketball because it's different, right? Everything now is got to do with other collectibles, but generally collectibles, right? Collecting something. I know one or two people that collect stamps, like really vintage stamps, and they have money, like they're worth something. Like the most expensive basketball card ever ended up getting was probably worth like $20 or something like that for one card. But you spend a lot of money just collecting cards. But it was like a hobby. I still got them. I still have them somewhere. I've got a folder with the sleeves, and you put them all in, and they're all kind of like protected so that you try to keep them in mint condition, hoping that one day the price of it will go up. But yeah, it doesn't always. But yeah, it was kind of like a little hobby that I picked up when I was in in high school. In high school. But I know now still people collect a lot of cards, and there's people on, even here on this platform on YouTube, they would just like open up their cards and see what they got and things like that. Did you ever collect cards, Belle? Because I know Jem, she collects a lot of hair clips. She's got all these different hair clips, to tie up her hair. A lot of them are anime inspired hair clips, so they've got characters on them. But yeah, have you ever collected anything apart from concert tickets, I guess?
For me, I had like it's not cards, but it's just like a sticker, like a card sticker. And there was like this album that you had to buy. And you had to stick on it. Like every time that you would buy a pack, you wouldn't know what's inside. Like it's just like a surpriser type of thing. And uh whenever you like open it and then like open the pack, you had to stick it onto the slot that is allotted in the album. And then
Oh, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
collecting passport stamps, but in a different way. Like there's an allotted slot for each. I think it was like animals, like in the card sticker. And yeah, me and my sister would have that. And I don't think we ever got to complete one, but I think it was just a fun thing to do. And also stickers, like random stickers, I don't know, like plushy stickers or any type of stickers. Like at school, we would have our own like binder of stickers. And sometimes if you like someone else's sticker, like you would just
You
like
would
trade. Oh, you like this
trade.
one?
Yeah.
And sometimes the sticker would be bigger. So you're like, oh, if I give you this big one, then you have to give me like three of those, you know?
Yeah.
So it was just like trading stickers and swapping stickers. And it was fun. So yeah, it was a fun way to like interact with my classmates back in the day. But yes, it was a fun thing to do. So like now that you mentioned it, that it is going back to style or in trend now, it really brings back the memories of back
It did.
then.
Right, right. Like back then, it was only like basketball cards. I think in the US it was baseball cards, and you would swap for certain players and certain types of cards because of their value and all that. Now it's like characters or like little from other shows and whatever else. But it's come back, right? It's come full circle. Everyone's collecting something nowadays. And generally they're trading, like, oh, like swapping cards, which is something that some of the kids still do. And that, so it's nice that I guess that trend still stuck around, but it's an influence, right? And that's what we're talking about today. So I think for our kickoff chat, I think we've we've covered a little bit of kind of like where certain things starts to influence us. But thank you to those that participated in our kickoff chat. That's been our kickoff chat for today. Thank you, everyone. Let's close up with our bumper.
Our
In other
icebreaker
words,
is titled
this is
Give You
our
Some
live
Options.
platform
Let us know
survival
if it's
radio
something
segment.
that you're willing to take up as a
Kickoff
challenge.
chat.
And before we continue on with our program for today, we also would like to say thank you to those who have joined us so far. We have here Rod Kahayag saying, hello, Faith and Melody. Happy Monday. And we also have Mario Oka saying, good midnight here in the Philippines and enjoy watching here on Faith and Melody. Greetings from the local of Brixtonville, district of Caloocan North. And without further ado, we'll go on to our next musical break and we will play for you Don't Lose Heart and Blessings Abound. Enjoy.
This time we're living is critical. Daily life is difficult. No trials around us on all levels. So we need to pray in God's temple. Remember the key, keep your heart pure and clean. Follow His commands and be holy just as God planned. His image should be our reflection. In this world attain perfection. Don't lose heart. Don't lose heart. Salvation isn't a fantasy. It's God's promise to be a reality. The promised place is truly near. A place with no sadness and no more tears. It's at the doors, be patient and endure. It's worth the wait, we won't fall away. God is with us every step of the way, guiding us until we reach that holy place. Don't lose heart. Don't lose heart. The words of God are our armor and shield that we will wield, slicing up all evil on the battlefield. So take your shield, take your sword, march forth and fight for the Lord. When we win the spiritual war, we'll receive His promised reward. So despite we're facing all trials and tribulations, all the problems and all temptations, gotta keep on racing onward to perfection, receiving salvation is the right direction. Stand up and fight your fight. All members of the Church of Christ, rejoice and praise the Lord all the days of our lives. Brothers and sisters, don't ever back down despite all the problems. You see that all, keep your eyes on the prize. Salvation where is at now, God will see us through. Continue to stand all His commands for the rest of our days. Worship His name and let's offer Him praise, as all of our labors will never be in vain. Those endured till the end will surely be saved. Don't lose heart. Don't lose heart. Keep your sight on the prize and glorify God and His Son Jesus Christ. We're the inheritors of the promised salvation, the Church of Christ, God's one generation. Don't lose heart. I am proud to be INC, and His blessings abound for all in the INC.
Blessings abound, they keep on coming every day. The Lord our God is so generous when I pray. I receive His goodwill and protection, His love and His mercy, they keep me in the right direction.
If you feel you're slipping, just go to our God, for He's the only one who needs the strength to go on. Yeah, He's waiting for you to call upon Him and He will save you.
Yeah, you know that I am proud to be the chosen one. True member of the Church of Christ, yeah, we're His chosen ones. True members of the Church of Christ, yeah, we're His chosen ones.
Blessings abound for all in the
Let go. Reap all the blessings on the final day, but we first need to serve in the proper way. Got my membership, I'm complete. The devil on the prowl, trying to get to me, trying to tempt me, trying to get the best of me. I fight the winning battle, I ain't fazed by the short-lived and the temporary.
I don't gotta be known to have more wealth than one can own, but I always gotta make sure that my faith is grown.
Keep my relationship with God strong. Just tell me what's the point of having it all if after this life we got no eternal heavenly home? Yeah, you know that I am. Don't let yourself be caught off guard. You've been blessed with this calling to be among God's chosen ones. Yeah, to be among God's chosen ones. So don't be swayed, don't stop, nor slow down. So don't be swayed, don't stop, nor slow down. Yeah, say it with me. I might see proud, run towards the crowd. If you feel like you have got the weight of burdens on your shoulders, strength. You know how you endure, there ain't nothing you can't do when you trust in Him. So let the blessings fall down, let the blessings fall down.
Blessings abound, they don't stop raining on me.
Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. This is Jay and Bell here on INC Radio's Faith and Melody. And we are proceeding with our topic discussion today, which is titled Shaped by Influence, because it's true, right? Like who we are today and who we have become up to this point are generally shaped by the influence of the people around us, our family, our friends, our workmates, the mentors, or the people that we look up to, and even sometimes strangers online. Like, let's admit it, these days it's so easy to connect with strangers. Well, it's not really connect with strangers, but watch influencers online, right? And generally when you start liking what they're, what they're doing, or the fashion or the hobby, whatever it might be, you start to get influenced a little bit. So that's kind of like what we're going to be talking about in today's topic. So, in this first part, right, of our conversation, let's first explore how the foundation of our character is shaped by the early influences in our life, especially namely from our family members, our upbringing, and even our friends, our close friends growing up, right? So, what values or habits from your family have stayed with you into adulthood? Generally, as you grow up, it kind of like, your character changes, you develop, and you find out, what sticks with you. But there are certain values or habits that from the early days, from your childhood, right? Those memories that might pop into your head when you think about your childhood. There's certain values there that stayed with you, especially from your family members, your parents, for those who have siblings, maybe your close relatives. I know in the Philippines, many times the people, your neighborhood, right? The people in your, what's it called in Tagalog? I don't know what it's called in Tagalog, but your local area, like they're very, very close. So you end up forming a bond, and there's generally some ways that those habits from those people or the values from our close relatives, they stick with us even up till now. Is there anything like that with you, Belle? Any values or habits that have stuck with you that started way back when you were still like single digit age?
And as a Christian, of course, um, we've been taught to always, you know, be kind to one another. And even if you don't know each other, always be kind. And I feel like that's such a simple thing to say, but trying to be kind every day to everyone, sometimes it's hard, especially during tougher times. But having that instilled like in my heart and my mind from a very young age, that really is something that I've been accustomed to, like for most of my life. And it is really something that, you always have to work on. And of course, as Christians in the Iglesia ni Cristo, we've always been taught to always attend the worship services twice a week, and to always give importance to our duties. There's something that my parents always said, prima dovere poi il piacere, in Italian, which means
One, one,
duties.
one more time. One more time.
Prima il dovere, poi il piacere.
Okay. Okay.
And uh, prima il dovere means duty comes first, and then pleasure or leisure goes after that. So
Mm-mm.
always put uh our duties first, prioritize our duties, and then the rest will follow. That's what I've always been taught, and it's stuck to me up until now. And at the end of the day, yeah, it's a matter of prioritization when it comes to that. So yes, that's a few of the things that came up to my mind when you did mention this. So yeah, what about you, Jay? Is there something that has stuck with you throughout your childhood up until now?
I yeah. I think the main part that really played a big role, especially growing up, and it's something that's still stuck with me right now, is the importance. Again, coming on from a Christian childhood, and our background and everything else as members of the Church of Christ, uh, from a very early age, the importance of pananampalataya, which is faith, right? That's because my parents would always speak to us in Tagalog, and we would always reply in English. That's how it worked, right? While we were growing up. So I guess that could be another thing. It's like we can understand Tagalog, but we can't speak it very well. Like my siblings and I. So, but the thing that our parents taught us was pananampalataya, which is faith in English, the importance of faith and the importance of prayer. And, it really is a big role for us that faith is something that doesn't just, oh, you have faith and then that's it. It's something that needs to be taken care of. It's something that needs to grow and it's something that needs to get tested so that it can become stronger, right? It's almost like a muscle if you think about it, in terms of what it needs to go through to become something that you can use when you need it. Like to use your faith when you need it, it needs to be exercised, it needs to be toned and strengthened and all of those things. And that really comes through, like our faith and our trust in our Almighty God. Like it was something that was a very important value for us in our household, the importance of really putting everything that we worry about onto our Almighty God, right? Through prayer. Any concerns, any problems or challenges that we might be facing. Growing up, whenever, even when I was still single digit age, when all I thought about was, collecting basketball cards and all of that, we still had little problems, didn't we? Right now, like there's still something there. It's like, why can't I get this basketball card? And then you would kind of like pray for that. um, but then as you grow up you realize the importance of it and the role, right, the role that it has when you're going through something actually life changing, or something that actually impacts your future. You have to make the right decision on like the course that you need to take, or the person that you want to be with, or whether you should move here or move there, and all of these things, like those bigger life decisions, really shows it plays a role, to put your faith into what our Almighty God has planned for you. So that came from a very young age, and I think that the faith that I have now, and I can probably say for most of us who started this whole journey, right, as Christians from a young age, it's like it's not the same. It's stronger. It's bigger. It's stronger. It's a healthier type of faith that we had when we were still a little kid, right? Still thinking about possible cards and whatnot. So that's one for me, definitely is the word pananampalataya. It's like something that I heard many times when I was growing up. Is there any other things that you remember growing up, Belle, apart from what you mentioned earlier? Any other hobbies, or not hobbies, habits? I mean, habits or values that popped up into your head?
You know, treat uh, I don't know what to say, because I was gonna say like treat everyone uh like how you want to be treated. Like, you know how in the
Mm,
Bible says to love your neighbors like you love yourself, like the same thing. And that comes hand in hand with kindness, because you wouldn't want to treat someone in a way that you don't want to be treated, right, Jay? So that comes hand in hand. And always like and even if someone does you wrong, is like my parents always said, like, to be the bigger person, always give the benefit of the doubt, and always show up, you know and that is something, like, like as a kid, like, it's hard because like you don't really understand what it means. you know but like growing up, like, with the experiences I had, it is something that um you get to experience and learn from. And as a Christian, we've always been taught to always, treat each other with respect. And yes, that is something that really comes hand in hand with kindness.
mm. No, no,
and
no,
kind
that's true.
yeah, and kindness is contagious as well, right? So if you do something right to someone, then they'll feel like much more lighter. They'll feel much more happier. And when you're really proud of something or happy about something, you usually share it with someone, right? So that also sparks something in them that will also enable them to do something kind to another person. So that also, yeah, it's something really positive to look at when it comes to that. And engaging with people, Jay.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that me growing up as well, one I heard all the time as well, from my parents was, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. Um, I guess that's when I was getting taught the importance of being mindful of how, your actions and your words can, hurt or maybe hurt other people, or especially when you're younger, you don't know, you don't mean to say that you don't mean what you say to hurt someone, right? But then because you're just not thinking about it. So it was during that stage when my parents were kind of like teaching me the importance of being mindful, right? Of like, if you say that, like, how is it going to make the other person feel? So I heard that phrase a lot, right? If you have nothing nice to say, then, don't say anything, right? So that's something that I learned growing up. And perhaps, I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but I feel like that's probably one of the reasons why I've turned out to be shy. I told you that I'm an introvert at heart, and I'm kind of like shy of approaching people. I feel that thing growing up, what my parents told me, kind of like, again, I'm not a psychologist or a professional, so this is just me assuming, but I feel like, could that have led me to not want to say anything? So I would rather just be in the background rather than approaching people because I was a bit shy. And maybe, yeah, there's just those little things that kind of sticks with you from childhood, right, Belle? Um, Especially when you're getting disciplined or you're getting things to do. It's like, yeah, you remember those moments when something happens. But let's say hello to our Ohana, our viewers there in live chat, because they've got a couple of hellos in there, but they've also got a couple of comments. You want to go ahead and give them a quick read, Belle?
We have here Willie Liwanag saying hello po. We also have Joan Frondes Advincula saying hello po as well. And we also have Marietta Miller saying good morning, greetings from Medford, GWS District of Oregon. And yes, we have some people sharing some of their experiences here or thoughts. Joan said here, aside from the love for the food, I think it's the hospitality, and that's really great. Um, we also have here Rod Kahayag saying loyalty to our membership in the Church of Christ, and that's also something nice to mention, especially if you have been brought up in the church, and you know, uh, I feel like when it comes to um, us Christians, it's something that we've always uh, been taught as well to, you know, uh, make everyone feel welcome, especially in church, right, Jay?
Yes,
So
that's
I
true.
feel like hospitality comes hand in hand with, you know, uh, treating each other with respect and kindness as well. And because you always want to make everyone feel like they're welcome, right? And in the Church of Christ, we always treat each other as brothers and sisters, and we do call each other brothers and sisters, right? So it's something that it's nice to be accustomed to, and being able to share that with our friends and loved ones, um it's much nicer, right? So the more the merrier. And yes, with that said, um in what ways did your friends or coworkers even have influenced your personality or interests, Jay?
Yeah, because it's true. Like apart from, yeah, we've talked about childhood, right? Like with our family and kind of like growing up. But the next one from that generally is the people that we work with, people that we go to school with, your school friends. They're the ones that really got me into collecting stuff, like collecting cards, collecting basketball cards, and other TV shows back then that was popular. We would collect those cards growing up, and stickers too. I remember that we used to collect stickers. I really got into sports cars because of my friends, right? So generally, our friends, like especially those who are in the Philippines, right? Everyone is so close together in their local. Um, do you know what the term is in Tagalog, Bell? Like when you live in like in a little area, you know, all the people there, like they know each other, like from each street, like the neighbors and everything, like they all know each other.
Bayan?
Whereas, what's that?
Bayan?
Bayan? I think so, but again, we're we're not really the best Filipino Tagalog speakers. But yeah, yeah, it's whereas here, right? Here at least where I am, here in Australia. I can't speak for United Kingdom because I've never been. But like here in Australia, we've got our neighbors, but we're so far apart. right? We've got the people across the road, we've got people behind us and everything, but we don't really, apart from like a little nod and a little hello here and there when we pass each other, we don't really know each other, right? Whereas there in the Philippines, I remember even just going for a holiday that we would meet the neighbors and they would know each other, and then the people would all introduce each, like they know each other. But yeah, it's just it's a little bit different, right? So, but they generally do influence what you like, and it influences your personality, right? So with that, for me, I think it was got to do with a lot of my interests. The whole thing of me being interested right now, like my general interests are IT, like information technology stuff, computers, laptops, tablets, smartwatches, cameras, like video cameras, photo cameras, like techie stuff. That all came from the people that I hang around with. Like we were all pretty much at the computer lab or the computer room. We would always be, checking out the latest gadgets and whatnot. So I think that influence of me and what I really got interested in had to do with the people I was hanging around with, my friends. The reason was I was able to self learn how to put together my own computer from scratch. And even this computer that I have here next to me, right, this desktop computer. I'm not using it right now, but the desktop computer that I have, I built that myself. And the whole thing, the whole journey of learning that, of building computers and learning how it all works, is because from my childhood, the influence of my friends and the people around me, like they had the same interest about, you know, pulling things apart and trying to put it back together. And that kind of just led down that path, for me. But how about you, Belle?
For me, I'm not quite sure. Like, I'm just a bit perplexed. But I feel like since you did talk about techie stuff, like for me is skincare. I mean, it didn't really come from them, but I feel like I was the one who influenced my friends.
You were
Uh,
the influence.
yeah,
Okay.
I was the influencer. In a good way. I mean, they would ask me, it's like, some of my younger friends would say, they would ask like, Ate, like, what do you recommend for this or that? Because sometimes they would go Japan, right? So like some of the skincare there is really good, and yeah, they was like, oh, what do you recommend? And, like, and then I would like give a list. I was like, oh, what's your skin concerns? And then yeah, we would talk about it, and then I would explain. But I'm not a professional, of course. It's just out of all of the things that I shared with them is from experience. So I'm like, whatever works for me. But I told them that each skin is different. So like, if it doesn't work, like it's not like it's not really my fault. So yeah, I would tell them like, yeah, it's just a recommendation. Then it's up to you. But yes, it's something like that. And I even like share that with like my sisters, and it's just really a fun way to like interact with one another because you get really passionate about something. Like when you're passionate about something and you have people who are passionate about the same thing, you get even more passionate because you're like, wow, where have you been all this time? You know what I mean? And it's something that is like sparks a lot of joy and excitement when you do talk about something that you love. And even matcha, I think something, yeah, matcha, because at first I think Arian made me try a matcha for the first time like years ago. I think I was still in Italy back then, and I didn't really like it. I didn't really like it, and I was like, what's the hype for this? Like, I was like, maybe because like it depends on how each person makes the matcha, but Erin didn't make it. We got it from like a place, and yeah, I didn't like it, and I looked at her. I was like, how do you even like this? But
Yeah,
now look at
yeah.
me now. Look at me now. I really love matcha. So I feel like it really depends on the type of matcha and the different like ways to make it. So yeah, I've been influenced in a way where, it's like a hit or miss. So I need to like give it another try. So I gave it a lot of tries up until like I actually liked it. It's not because I was forced to, but every time I was like, oh, maybe this time will be different. Like, because it's like it's not only like the drink itself. Sometimes there's like chocolate or any other dessert, but I really like the chocolate. So I was like, oh, maybe any other dessert like will be as good as this one. So yeah, I like trying around like different type of foods, matcha flavor that are matcha flavored. And there was like this one drink, like an iced vanilla matcha that I really liked. And from there on, my passion for it like grew even stronger. So yes, uh, I feel like it all started with my sister or even my friends because they like matcha as well, and I got to
Yeah. So you
taste.
started off not liking matcha, but then somehow, because of that, you started being intrigued about it, and then you ended up liking matcha. I wish I could say the same thing about what's that bitter melon in Philippines?
Oh,
Uh,
ampalaya.
yeah, no. I wish I could say the same thing about that. It's like, oh, I was influenced before. I didn't like it before, but now I love it. No. I know, I know it's good for you, but it just never grew on me. But I get what you're trying to say. Sometimes there's certain things that you get influenced at the beginning to not liking it. It's like it's not for me. But then over a certain amount of time, it grows on you. It grows on you, right? So that does happen. And you generally it's not just families, from friends and other people as well. But let's say hello as well. We've got Atikat Leia there in our live chat saying hello to us from tuning in from New Jersey. And also Lance Buban saying hello po from the local congregation of Leduc, Edmonton, Canada. Happy watching po. Was there any answers there or that I might have missed, Belle?
You have here Veronica Hayek saying, I got influenced by my friends and got a road bicycle, and we all ride together. That's so cool.
That's right.
That's
I,
so
I I I was gonna
cool.
say there because one of the influences I almost got into was getting a motorbike. Because I read that and I was like a road bicycle, and I was asking if that was the same thing as a motorbike. Apparently, it's not. So it's an actual bicycle, I guess, for the road, or is it off road? Rod, is it like an off road bike? Because I know there are actually a few brothers here in our locale that go off road biking. So they have actual electric motorbikes, right? Like I don't know if ever Belle, I know you've been trying to get onto your bicycle. Right. It's sorry, electric bicycle. So it's a bicycle, but it's got an electric motor, and basically it helps you pedal. So when you're going through like hills and terrain, yeah. Anyway, it's a pretty intense thing. Um, but yeah, and what else was there? I think I saw one from Katleya saying, he says, I always take into consideration recommendations for food, movies, TV shows, and vacation spots. I feel like a lot of those are influenced by other people, right? If you want to like, what food should I try when I'm in this area? Or what movie should I watch next? Or like, where should I go for vacation? Oh, I heard you went here. How was that? Right? It's generally influenced by a lot of other people. We've got one of our other friends here on the panel that just joined us. Let's get her a moment. Let's give her a moment to say hello. Hi, Eric. How are you?
Hey Jay, hi Arabelle, how are you? Good evening from London, United Kingdom, and hello everyone who's tuned in to INC Radio Faith and Melody. I'm Erica, and I'm so excited for this topic discussion.
Glad to have you here. We're talking about influences right now, and let's get you to chime in a little bit here
Mm-hmm.
and just share with us anything that has been an influence on you. Maybe something that stuck with you from when you were still a young kid to now, or maybe something that stuck with you when you were with at school with your friends. Like what habits or hobbies or values has stuck with you from a young age to where you are right now? Anything.
I think one of the things that stuck with me ever since I was a kid was um, I may say it's not a I guess not a value, but it's like a characteristic that I've been influenced with. It's being the okay. There's a comment from from the Kuya Tech in the Philippines. That's why sorry, but anyways, um, so it's literally being the mom in the group. so ever since I was like the little kid, every time I play with friends, even when we were young, I felt like I was the one that was supposed to be the responsible one.
Would they
So
actually
value,
call you mom, or you acted like the mom of the group?
I acted like the mom of the group, but if fun fact, is that a fun fact though, Arabelle?
Is it,
You know,
is it a fun
sometimes
fact?
you know that sometimes my sisters call me mom, like they don't do it on purpose, and then I actually answer to that. But then we look at each other and we're like, "What? Like you
Yeah.
did you just call me mom?"
Wait, is that true, Belle? Is that Can you confirm?
Yes.
You would oh, okay, all right. So that's a good
That's
thing, I
typical.
think, because it shows that you are the responsible one. The question is, are you the responsible one? Were you actually the responsible one? But I guess that comes across, right? Like that's why they saw you like that. It's nice. So you were kind of like the good influence on them.
It's
Belle, would
no,
you
I
say that your
mean
sister was the good influence on you?
the thing is that Jay, I think it's more on like how we grow up, right? And we surround ourselves with friends. Um, one of the things that I picked up ever since I was young was to be careful on who I hang out with. You know, more on we've been blessed with friends and they're our chosen family. But of course, um, I think I read that somewhere where it said that you you become and you pick up things from the five people that you spend the most time with, right?
Yes,
And of
yes.
course, because we would like to be, I don't know if it's like the five people or something, but it was like around those words. And I think it's true. So ever since I was little, and my mom and dad taught me to always, not only strive my best to be a good influence, but also surround myself with people that I would like um to aspire to be. Does that make sense? Wait, is that even English? You know what I mean? Like they have qualities that I would love to have or hone or or mold. And then yeah. So I hope I've been a good influence. I'm not saying I'm perfect. Nobody's perfect, but we strive our best to have the qualities that we would like to seek, not only for ourselves, but from the ones that we are surrounded with.
Well, that's true. That's true. And I mean, like, since we've been talking about like the influences of others on us, right? Just to wrap up this first part of our discussion. So, just looking back in your own journey and history, what kind of influence did you wish you had growing up? So, as you were growing up, like what you've had already, what do you wish you had as you were growing up in terms of your influence? Belle, did you want to start?
I feel like just a second, sorry. I feel like uh I'm not sure actually what influence did I wish to have growing up, because I had like my dad, my mom, and Ate Erica as a second mom. So in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like church values and Christian values, like I always had good influencers in my life. And up until now, like our whole family is able to, perform our duties together. And also, always attend like activities and be proactive. So in terms of that, like I feel like that has been a really like great influence um in my life. Jay?
I want to share actually mine,
Yes,
Arabelle,
yes.
because we have this conversation about bikes and all things, right? About games. So I think growing up, I wish I had the chance to be more carefree, if that makes sense. Being the mom of the group, it's nice because at least someone has to be kind of like the grown up of the group, whether you're like very young or like in your teenage years. But I'm only I'm kind of only experiencing um you know those years where usually young people enjoy their free time, right? With different activities just now, if that makes sense. It's never too late, but growing up, I think I was such an adult at a certain level, and it would have been nice to have, I guess, in simple words, a bit of more fun.
I like that. I like that. Actually, the thing that I was thinking of just with this part as well is like the influence that the influence that INC Radio and Faith and Melody had on me just in the past 3 years, 4 years. I wish I had that a lot earlier in my age, in my life, in my journey, right? Because like in terms of like speaking specifically about Faith and Melody, just the ability now of me expressing how I feel and actually recognizing and all of that. I feel like it happened during me when I first tuned into Faith and Melody and all the, especially during the peak time of Faith and Melody, and we had like so many different topics and hosts and all of that, like the different characters, personalities, right? And experience that everyone was sharing on Faith and Melody during that time. That really helped grow my I is it called emotional, like your IQ, EQ, right? Your emotional,
Yes.
yeah, EQ, right? It helped grow
EQ.
my EQ, my understanding, and all of that. So that really played a big role. And I wish I had that earlier when I was growing up. That's just the only thing there. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna wrap up this part of our discussion because we do have a lot more to get through, right? So we're gonna take a quick little break. Belle, if you just want to read, I think if there's, I don't think there's any other comments, but if you just want to perhaps actually, there's one there from Rod. So if you just want to read out the final comments and then it just introduce the next two songs before we come back with the next part of our discussion.
Uh, Here, Rod said, Faith and Melody influenced me to make acronyms. And that's really nice as well. He did say about riding a bicycle, but like if you think about it, that would be really cool, like seeing like riding a bicycle all together. But also he said here, shout out to the CWS officers and teachers. They are great influence for our INC kids. And Rod also mentioned here, it's a bicycle for the road, like the bike they use for Tour de France. And but I also have a mountain bike too, and that's fun. Yeah, so thank you for your clarification, Rod. And yes, oh wait, we have here. Oh, we have there. Aterica saying hello, tuning in for INC Radio. But yes, we will be playing for you another set of songs, and the first one is "We Have Our God," and the second one is "Dili Angay Mabalaka." No need to worry. We'll be right back.
In every trial He has given us, when the terror comes like a storm and destruction comes like a whirlwind, when distress and problems come away, we have our God. Many failures happen in our lives, but if we endure to the end, we shall be saved. No matter what, we'll hold on to our duty. Even if struggles come across our way, we have our God. Whatever happens, we will still continue our Almighty God has made us, and it is our duty to serve Him faithfully. We will use our strength to worship our Lord God. God is a refuge and our strength. God is great, He should be praised. For our God will not forsake His people, because He is pleased to make us His nation. And yes, we have our God. God is a refuge and our strength. God is great, He should be praised. For God will not forsake His people, because He is pleased to make us His nation. Then yes, we have our God.
Sa padayon nga paglakaw ning kalibutan nga mahuyan, usahay maayo ang dalan, usahay pod masakitan. Dili angay nga mabala ka, kay ang problema masulbadra. Itugian sa Ginoong Diyos, padayon lang sa pagantos, kay ang katumanan sa katubsanan hapit na, hapit na, hapit na, hapit na. Mag-ampo nga makapagpadayon sa muabot nga panahon, sapat ka madinasigon, o sapat ka maligon. yan sa Ginoong Diyos. Padayon lang sa pag-atos kay ang katumanan sa katubsanan hapit na, hapit na, hapit na, hapit na.
This is INCRadio, DZEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
You're listening to INC Radio's Faith and Melody, and we're talking about the things that has shaped us because of our influences, right? Earlier, we talked about growing up, family, friends, the people that we hang around with. Now, let's talk about the influence that we pick up, not only from friends or from school or work, but also even the ones from social media, because it's so easily accessible, right? Like everyone is on their phones, they're on the grams and on the books with the faces, and they're on everything that's got social media, and they're all you're basically seeing strangers, right? Strangers online, and most of the time we don't realize it, but they do influence certain things on us, on our character, on our hobbies, our interests, right? Or maybe even our habits. So to continue with this part of our discussion, have you ever found yourself changing your behavior or your values to fit in, right? Because that's kind of like the thing when it comes to trends, right? It's like everyone is doing it. Like, why aren't you? Like you're trying, and then they ask, like, the whole thing about fitting in or standing out. Like, what, if you have to copy or be influenced or join that habit, that behavior, so that you can fit in. Like, is that something that you have ever done? Before we get the answers from our panel, we've got another friend that has just joined us. It's been a minute since we've seen him here on the panel, but we love that he is here with us today. Let's say hello all the way from, I'm gonna wait. I'll let him introduce himself so I don't get it wrong. Hello, Andre.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, it's been a minute. I'm Andre Padrasho from Oslo, Norway. Yeah,
There you go. Oslo, Norway. Wait, which satellite studio again?
from INCRadio Northern Europe Satellite Studio.
Northern Europe. There you go. I was like going north, central. Okay, so Northern Europe. But we're so glad for our friend Andre to be joining us here today on the panel. And since we're talking about influence, one of the things that we have is not only are we, because I know Andre is also a host on Northern Europe, right? In a way, he is kind of like an influencer himself when it comes to music and everything else that goes on with INC Radio. But for you, Andre, have you ever found yourself changing something about yourself, changing your behavior, your habits, your values, so that you can fit in with like your friends or the people that you hang around with? Has that ever happened to you over the course of your life?
I'd say probably subconsciously, I've probably, um, adopted some of the, different mannerisms and, behaviors of my friend group. But I feel like you could ask them as well. We're pretty like different from each other actually,
Yeah.
but somehow we just find a way to really connect, and I think that's one thing that's really unique with my friend group. Shout out to all my friends here in Norway, because I think the biggest thing that really binds us all together is our common belief, our common faith, which is in the Church of Christ. So that's one thing that's really connected us together. So of course we have the same values, and we say we think the same way in a sense, how we approach life. and how we kind of set goals and boundaries as well. But like in terms of, personality wise, we're pretty different from each other actually. So yeah, I guess. But I guess if you it it also depends on, the social setting, because I have my own friend group at university. I kind of have other,
Mm.
like friendship with the people I work with in my part-time job. So I guess subconsciously I do act a bit different. It's not something that I really like can tell specifically what it is, but you feel it, the energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Erica was saying earlier about the five people that you hang around, you spend the most time with, right? But I guess that would be a different group of five people when you're at work, a different group of five people when you're just, with your friends, right? So they're all like kind of like different groups of people, and kind of like you got to be wary of like what each group, like how what influences they have on you, so yeah, when it comes to that, like actually let's hear a little bit more from Erica. Has there anything from you, Erica, like in terms of behaviors or values of trying to fit in with others? Has that ever happened to you where you had to change something to fit in?
Um, I agree with Andre what he said. Maybe I did subconsciously, but I think it's it's not about like values or anything. It's more on how I I I talk to people. So, when, for example, because I don't have like a set of group of friends, I have friends, if that makes sense. Like it's not like we all hang out all the time together. And so they all come from different walks of life, different backgrounds, and so having different experiences and different interests, right? So it may be that if I hang out with this friend and we're talking about like traveling and hobbies and the different activities that we do, and then with another friend I talk, or like I would be a little bit uh more chill, I guess, not like hyperactive because of the interests that we have, such as like reading books, or learning new things. And I think when it comes to being influenced, it's more on. I totally agree with what Andre said actually, because it's how they talk, and so you pick up what they usually use, like words or mannerisms. And it's funny
Like
because
the lingo that they
yeah, the
use.
lingo, and also not even the lingo, it's like the mannerisms. Sometimes you see yourself mirroring them,
Yeah.
you know and it's funny and cute when you realize it, because you're like, oh wow, that means that like I must have spent a lot of time with this person. And that's why earlier when I said friends, that we chose um for like friends that become family, right? Because they're our chosen family. And then but those things are the things that I think I've been influenced with. But when it comes to values, of course, like we stand our ground, especially because, as Arabella has mentioned, and also like Andre, growing up inside the Church of Christ, we grew up with and we've been taught Christian values. And so whatever happens, of course, we are surrounded with our chosen family that also have the same values.
I love like how both Andre and Erica have like similar responses when it comes to, because I agree with that as well. Like I think even for me, like growing up, I didn't change myself to fit in, but it's like the people that you hang around with, you still connect with each other in a way, right? Like your close five friends, you can almost read each other's mind, almost, right? Can't read each other's mind, but it's like you pick up on each other's mannerisms, so kind of like what the other person is feeling. Almost like that's why we call them our family, even though they're not literally our family, but it's that close of a connection or that bond that we have, but we don't change our values. So actually, speaking of that part of like the values that we have, especially our Christian values, and many times that's where we stand our ground. So how do you do that, right? Just to wrap this part of our discussion, how do you stay grounded in your values, in your identity, because that's one of those things that people try to hold on to as well, while you're still open though and learning from other people? Like, how do you stand on your values, stay grounded on your values without it changing, but still be open to learning, right? Or seeing a new perspective on things from the other experiences of others. So, Erica, did you want to
Yes.
kick that off?
Uh, just because I wanted to say also buy in advance.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you
yeah,
already know the
yeah.
commitment. But I love this because I know growing up, for example, I've been asked why do I, for example, go a lot of times to church, right? Or I have these activities and I'm always here and there. And I've been asked, why don't you join us in this occasion and some other events? You know, when you're young, you do feel, and even like now, you would feel pressure, as in, okay, why do I do that, right? But because ever since I was a kid, I already had clear values, taught by my parents. And it's not just because my parents told me, oh, you have to do this, this, and this, and this, right? It's because they explained, they gave the reason behind why we're doing it, so that as much as we are young, we understand like the reason of what we're doing, because we're not just here to follow, right? um
Yeah.
Anyone telling us what to do. We have our own mind and our own decision to make to take action. And so I think, how do I stand my ground? I say no. I've learned to say no, but also in a way where I say no, I wouldn't be able to, or I don't do this because, and then I would explain the reason. As much as I am respecting what they're doing, it's the same way, right? It's a two way. So I do respect their perspective, but also they also respect my perspective because of how I explain to them the situation. So I think it's knowing how to stand your ground, is like literally knowing the reason and understanding it, because you can be swayed, or um, you can be influenced and changing direction if at some point you just forget why you're doing it, right? Or you don't know why you're doing it.
Understanding is very, very important. Like the why, the why all comes from like your comprehension of like what's the reason behind that, right? So I know Erica needs to head off to another duty that she has, so let's give her a quick chance to say any final shout outs or greetings.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Andre, for joining us. It's been a while. I'm so happy he's joined. And also, of course, greetings to everyone who's tuning in to INCRadio Faith and Melody. I'm including everybody so that everybody feels greeted. And I'll see you soon. Uh, I really do love this topic discussion, so I will listen to the second part later. But thank you so much, Jay and Arabelle, and bye, Andre.
Thank you, Erica. We'll see you soon. Andre, let's give you a little moment to shine as well, because I love what Erica said. But did you have anything different to add on to that? Because she mentioned the importance of knowing, like understanding why you're doing it. Is there anything else you wanted to add in terms of how you stay grounded to your values or your identity, but you're still open to learning, other things?
I mean, for me, it's really simple. It's just knowing what really is important for you. What's your number one priority? And for me, that's obviously the church. So um, so that is the number one priority. That's like the core of how I think, how I approach things. It starts from, okay, as a member of the church, how should I approach this? As a member of the church, what do I think of this, right? So whenever I'm asked to do something, or even join an activity, I always think first, okay, um, does this align with my beliefs, with my faith? And if not, then it's really answered as simple as no, I won't join. If it does not go against my beliefs, right, then why not? So that's how I kind of differentiate of how to stand my ground, but while still being open, right? In terms of, can I become better as a person from this? Can this somehow help me become better, right? Then obviously, why shouldn't we? Because that's also one of our beliefs, right? To work our hardest and do our best to improve as a human being and to be good to everyone, right? So it starts from there. It really is about, so obviously, to have that kind of standpoint, you need to, you need to really be really, um you really need to grow in your faith. You need to always listen to what your fellow members in the church tell, the fellow officers, especially those who are the elders, right? And because they have experience, they have more experience in life. If they have any advice, anything they want to say, always be open to listen to them, right? And always learn, and learn more about what's written in the Bible, so that you have more knowledge. You know more of, okay, is this, does this go in line with um my faith, right?
I
Something
like,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, 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 that's true. It's like the, from what I'm getting is like, it's important to know who you are, right? Who you are and what you value, and that comes from, like what you said, uh strengthening your faith. Like I think I mentioned it earlier. Like I'm like, you start off, with faith, but then it doesn't stop there. Like your faith needs to grow. It needs to get stronger. It needs to go through some challenges so that you can actually use it, right? Like it's a muscle that needs to be used. Otherwise, it's easy for you to fall over. In other words, like get swayed by other things and lose your identity and lose your value of who you are as a person, as a Christian, especially for us, the importance of holding on to what we believe in as a member of the Church of Christ, right? Like, why do we believe in those things? Why do we do that? Like that all comes, that's all a journey. That's all, that doesn't like, you become a member of the Church of Christ and then that's there already. It's like it starts and then it grows more and more and stronger, right? And it needs to get tested so that your faith becomes stronger overall, because that's how you stay grounded with your values and what's truly important to you. So I totally agree with that, right? But then because of that, when other people have their opinions, when other people, we can respect the opinions of others, we can respect where they're coming from, right? But it doesn't necessarily will change what we believe in or what we value the most. So I'm loving this part of our discussion. We do have one more part to go, but I'm going to pass it over to Belle. Belle, if you wanted to add anything else to the discussion, but I can see there's a couple of comments and a couple of hellos as well in live chat. So I'll pass it over to Belle. She can wrap up this little part here and then intro the next two songs.
Rod Kahayag said here earlier about, changing behavior around other people to fit in. He said here, yes, if I hang around Jay for a while, I'll probably speak with an Aussie accent. And then he also shared here another acronym saying shaped by influence. So situations having a positive effective development, and because you inspire naturally, friends lovingly, unconditionally, and empathically, nurturing Christians every time. Thank you for that, Rod. And we also have here Lani joining us today. So thank you so much. And honestly, with all that's been mentioned, I can really relate to most of it. And since most of us, we're really brought up in church from a really young age, or even from from the moment we were born, um, it is something that we have to stay. We have to hold on to our election, right? So yes, staying grounded to what we've been taught from an early age. That's what we'll be able to bring up until, you know, we have our next generation. But we before we continue on with our topic today, we will have another musical break, and we'll play for you As Long as I Have You and All These I Pray. We'll be right back.
Your words will be my armor and my shield as I struggle to win my own war against the evil deeds. Your love that cannot be surpassed in truth gives me the comfort and warmth as I live this life of sorrow. Your compassion of bringing me back to you effaces my sins and weaknesses. From my years of confusion, your promise is my inspiration to press onward with courage in fulfilling my duties for you and your people. I can go through every phase of my life, no matter how difficult it would be. I can go through every phase of my life, no matter how difficult it would be, as long as I have you with me. Passion of bringing me back to you effaces my sins and weaknesses. From my years of confusion, your promise is my inspiration to press onward with courage in fulfilling my duties for you and your people. I can go through every phase of my life, no matter how difficult it would be. I can go through every phase of my life, no matter how difficult it would be, as long as I have you with me. I can go through every phase of my life, no matter how difficult it would be, as long as I have you with me.
stand strong. I pray you may help us endure. I pray for the lonely. I pray for each family to keep their faith so strong. I pray and thank you, for you always hear our prayers. You reach out to our hearts. I cry with gratitude, pray with gratitude with all my soul. Help us to endure every trial in this world. All these I pray, and it's you I praise, oh Lord God. Oh Lord God. Pray for your guidance. I pray for the strength to stay in the light when it gets dark. Help us to walk the right way and guide each step so that we won't fall along the way. I pray and thank you, for you always hear our prayers. You reach out to our hearts. I cry with gratitude, pray with gratitude with all my soul. Help us to endure every trial in this world. All these I pray, and it's you I praise, oh Lord God. I praise you, you reach out to our hearts. I cry with gratitude, pray with gratitude with all my soul. Help us to endure every trial in this world. All these I pray, and it's you I praise, oh Lord God. Praise you, Lord God.
This is Faith and Melody, and we are about to wrap up this topic discussion. We've really enjoyed and we really love what everyone's been sharing in terms of the things that have influenced us. And since in this final part of our conversation today on our topic, as we've grown in awareness that there are so many things that influences us, right? Not only the people, the family, the friends, our co-workers around us, but even people online can also be in a way influencing our character and our habits, right? How can we become better influencers ourselves? Because we also would influence people around us. So, especially through our faith, through kindness and encouragement, how can we become a better influencer? So, just to wrap up this, the final thing that we're going to ask is what's one small way you've tried to be a positive influence on someone else? I'm sure there's something that you would have done, even a tiny little thing, to be that positive role model, to be a positive influence on someone. And most of the times, kind of like what was mentioned in our previous responses, that the influence that happens to us, it's not, it happens subconsciously, right? We don't even know that it's happening because it's just like we hang around those people, like they're the five closest people around us. It just kind of like it rubs off a little bit on us, and we it becomes our own little thing as well. So what do you think is something that you've done, even something tiny, something small, could be just how you show up, right? I think that's one way for me, is like just how you show up to situations, to events, to just being there. Like you can tell if a person is interested in being in a particular event or situation by just by their body language, right? Like, are they standing straight? Are they happy? Are they looking people in the eyes? Just the whole body language thing is a small thing. There's a lot of little things involved, but it's a positive way to show up if you do it correctly in a kind and caring way, right? You're there, you're paying respect to, to the event, you're saying hello to people, you're being kind, you're smiling, you've got a little bit of eye contact. It's hard on me because I'm an introvert, but I know that I can show up like that, right? I can put on that brave face and do what I need to show up. And I think that that's important to do, to because like we all have our own characteristics when it comes to interacting with people. So I think you just being that example, and especially if they know you, like, because that's not, I know he's shy. He says he's shy, right? But he still shows up in this way and is able to talk to people. So I think that's one positive way that I've tried to do, right? Showing up, being there, uh, and not just like leaving or just like disappearing, right? Actually being present. Um, but let's hear from our friends here on the panel. We've got Belle and Andre. So I'll ask Andre first, since he's our host guest on today's show. So Andre,
Yeah,
is there any small thing that you've done to be a positive influence on, just the people that observe you?
Jay, it's in the word, positive influence. So staying positive, I think it would really help elevate the mood, right? There with so many challenges and so many negative things happening around the world, it's so easy to kind of fall into such uh, negative train of thought. So whenever I'm with my friends, even coworkers, or just people in general, whenever I hear someone kind of like complaining, I'm always trying to find like the opposite opposite view of what they're saying. Like, for example, I have a friend. He's like, "Oh man, I've been going to the gym. Like, I went to the gym 2 times this week, and I was supposed to go a third time, but I really wasn't able to go today. So it sucks." So they think so negative, and I'm like, well, look at the bright side. On your next workout, you're gonna have more energy because you had more time to rest, right? So things like that, and especially with my coworkers when I'm at work, when they have the closing shift, that's like the type of shift that everyone at work kind of dislikes because they work so late until like 9 p.m. closing the shop in the mall, and they're like, oh man, I really don't want this shift. And I tell them like, well, look at the bright side. Here in Norway, you get bonus pay for like nighttime hours, so you get paid even more. So there's yeah, that you get paid more than us. So look at the bright side. Yeah. So trying to find the good things in situations where people might think very negatively of it. Yeah, just trying to look at the bright side of things.
I like that. It's like you're seeing something that's like really being blocked because they're just so focused on the negative, right? But that they're not seeing like, hey, there's a bonus to this. There's a positive to this. There's something that you can gain from that. And I like that because it really ties into what we experience with our faith, right? Like we go through those challenges, and a lot of the times we get reminded that there's always a brighter side to it. There's always something that we can learn. And I've mentioned this before. I don't know, Andre, if you probably this is going to be your first time hearing it, but my acronym I know Kuya Rod's there in the live chat and he's got his acronyms and everything else. But my acronym that whenever I face those things where things aren't going the way that I like, and why is this happening? And I don't want that. It's WDTM, WGTM, right? What's God teaching me? So that's kind of like my way to kind of see, all right, I don't like why this is happening to me. It's like, why did I get that instead? And it's the thing that acronym comes to me is WGTM, or basically, what's God teaching me? Because there's always something that you can learn, and you don't realize that there's something that you can learn if all your focus is everything's going so bad, everything's negative in my life, my world's falling apart. Like that is true. That can be true, but at the same time, there's also a learning opportunity, or there's something that you can use to learn so that you can grow your faith that little bit more, right? So that's kind of like my take on it. Like, I love that. Be the positive influence. Kind of the second question. So thank you for sharing that, Belle. Let's hear from you. What's one small thing that you do so that you can be that positive influence?
For me is smiling at people and actually saying hi. I don't know about you, but here in the UK, people are more closed off in terms of their culture. Like in Europe, for example, I was born and brought up in Italy. Like they're really like open. They can be loud in public and all that stuff. And I mean, in the UK, I'm not saying they're all quiet, because when it comes to sports, they're all really proud of their own team, right? But in general, in terms of their culture here, they're more closed off. So sometimes, like certain people can just pass by you and just not even look at you in the eye, or not even say hi, and you've bumped into each other like multiple times. So for me, like a simple smile and like, nodding at them, or like just smiling at them and looking at them or waving at them, that's like already something. And if they do it back or not, then that's on them. But my part in that is just, like if you can find anyone, being friendly, then be the friendly one. It's like when everyone says, oh yeah, there's no nice person here, then be the nice person, like start from there. And everyone else will follow, hopefully. But yes, that's my take on that, to reiterate on what has been mentioned so far. And I know that it sounds really simple, and you're like, oh yeah, but you're just smiling, you're just saying hi.
It's
But
contagious. It's
yes, it
contagious.
is
Especially if
contagious.
you have a great smile, right? Especially if you have a great smile like Belle. But it's definitely contagious. It's like yawning. But if you know, Belle, if you go one step above that, is if you compliment, right? Because that's something that Jem does as well. Like she is so good at it, a lot better than me. I'm trying to learn from her. But she can compliment strangers on anything, and it makes their day. You see their face change, you see their mood lift up, right? You really see the positivity change in their body just by a simple compliment. And she is great at it. Like I don't know how she does it. I'm trying to learn from her, but she's like kind of like my role model, my influence, trying to be like that, right? Because you can smile on people, but then if you compliment them on something as well, like genuinely compliment them on like what they're wearing, that earring, that dress, the shoes, whatever it is, their smile, compliment their smile. It just makes them smile even more. But yeah, so there's always little things that we can do, right? For everyone out there, there's always those little things, and you can influence the people around you, your friends, your family, but even strangers that you meet in the street. You can always be that positive influence. And that really comes from our habits and our own routines. So if you practice good influences in your life, then that just naturally comes out when you're out and about in the community, right? And it's also important that you are careful with the people that you surround yourself with. Kind of just like what Andre shared earlier, like the people that you surround yourself with, they're helping you to become stronger in your faith. They're helping you uplift, and strengthen yourself, and really cheer you on, and kind of like give you that good advice that you would count them as your closest friends, but more than that, you would count them as your family as well. And being intentional when it comes to being mindful and intentional on like the influence that gets put on us, but also the influence that we put on to other people. So, again, I just want to say thank you to everyone that joined us in our discussion today and everyone that shared their thoughts as well. Just to wrap up this little conversation, we do have a little our Christian value that we have prepared, which is as Christians, we were called to be salt and light in the world. So let us remain steady in our faith, filled with grace, and be a positive influence wherever we go. We are shaped by others, but we are also called to shape others by reflecting the love from our Almighty God. And so we hope you've all enjoyed a little conversation today. Before we wrap everything up, I'm going to pass it over to Belle. There's a few comments there in our live chat. There's a few greetings there in our live chat, and then she can introduce our verse of the week. Go ahead, Belle.
We have here Alex Ariola saying greetings to all of you, brethren, from the District of Orange County, California. We also have Rod saying here, I've learned this through experience and didn't know I was positively influencing someone. I changed the way I used to live my life 180 degrees and became super active in the church. That helped someone dear to me become a faithful member of the Church of Christ. And, that really goes to show that if you are the great influence in someone's life, then you'll be able to inspire them. We also have here Katya Heiskanen. Sorry if I mispronounced it. Oh yes, thank you, Katya, for joining as well. And saying Andre is the best positive influence, always turns a bad day into a good one. And we also have here Rod Kahayag saying, smile more, live more. And he also shared another acronym saying, positive people often smile in times if virtues emerge. And yes, thank you so much, Rod, and for sharing another acronym. And we will now go to our verse of the week.
Nowadays, there's a real danger in being negatively influenced by the opinions or philosophies of others. We can find these intellectuals, these experts, and even influencers on social media so that more people can find and accept their opinions, even if it goes against God's teachings. Hello, I'm Brother Ruben Bustos Jr., and in today's verse of the week, we'll get advice from the Apostle Paul so that we would not be carried away by other people's philosophies and their intellectualism. Here in the book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. See to it that no one carries you off as spoil or makes you yourselves captive by his so-called philosophy and intellectualism and vain deceit, idle fancies and plain nonsense, following human tradition, men's ideas of the material rather than the spiritual world, just crude notions, following the rudimentary and elemental teachings of the universe and disregarding the teachings of Christ, the Messiah. So the Apostle Paul advises us to make sure that we are not held captive by the so-called philosophy and intellectualism of the world. He says that these are deceitful and just plain nonsense. Well, why? Because they follow human traditions or teachings. They are men's ideas and not the spiritual word of God, which is the real truth. So we should be very careful about following ideas that are trending or becoming popular, remembering that even if something is widely acceptable or trending, well, it doesn't mean that it's the truth or that it aligns with the words of the Almighty. We should let God influence our life and deepen our understanding of His teachings. We should never disregard the words of our Father in heaven, because that's what will lead us to a brighter tomorrow. Now, to our friends, if you want true guidance in your life, we invite you to join us in our Bible study and our worship services here in the Church of Christ. Well, that's our verse of the week. Stay safe, stay strong, and stay faithful. God bless.
Thank you to Brother Ruben for that timely reminder and inspiration to take with us for the week ahead. So, yeah, and that's it for our topic for today. Andre, do you have any shout outs or greetings?
Yeah, shout out to all my friends, my family, especially in the district of Northern Europe, and to you guys. I haven't seen you in a while. So shout out to you. Thanks for having me once again, and to all the viewers and listeners. And huge shout out to Katja Heiskanen for tuning in and also making one comment. And yeah, to all my fellow crew members of INC Radio Northern Europe Satellite Studio, just a shameless plug here. You can tune in to INC Radio Northern Europe every Sundays at 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central European Summertime, which is Monday, 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. Philippine time. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Andre, for joining us. And Jay, do you have any shout outs as well?
Oh, I just want to shout out Andre. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we loved. It's been a while, but it definitely loved having you on the show here for a little bit, and as well with Erica. Right, she was here with us look for a little bit as well. So I really appreciate that. So giving Erica a shout out as well, and to everyone that always supports Faith and Melody. Hopefully, you all enjoyed today's conversation. And my main shout out goes out to my wife, of course, to Jem, and to our daughter Lena. So hopefully everyone has been enjoying the conversations that we have here to start off the week, and that you've all taken something away from today's conversation. Over back to you, Belle.
Thank you so much to Andre, you, Jay, and Aterica for joining today. Honestly, it's been a really good topic discussion. And to everyone who was able to join us today as well, they're in Team Live Chat. Thank you so much for your inspiration and for your support, and also my family. And I would also like to thank our technical team, our brothers there in the main studio. Actually, for today is Nico, actually. And we have Sister Des Asenas and Brother Edwin Asibuke. Thank you so much. And Brother Wally Tarai, our INC radio station manager. And of course, special thanks to our executive minister, our dearest Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, as well as our deputy executive minister, Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo. And once again, thank you for joining us all. I'm Belle from the United Kingdom.
And I'm Jay from Australia, and we have been your hosts for today's broadcast of Faith and Melody. We hope you've enjoyed today's episode and that's given you a positive influence for your week ahead. To close off our episode today, we'll be listening to the INC original music song titled Hawak Niya Tayo ng Kanyang Kamay. Join us again tomorrow on the next episode of Faith and Melody, and tune in for the rest of the week as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a great start to your week. Take care.
Tayo ay mga kaani sa Iglesia ni Cristo, kaya tayo wag paaagaw sa diablo. Kailangan maging matapang, kailangan maging malakas sa mga pagsubok sa ating buhay. Tayo ay magtagumpay sa mga pangako ng Diyos. Manindigan, hawak niya tayo ng kanyang kamay. Hanggang wakas manatili na Iglesia ni Cristo, dito nakasalalay.